Sawadee guys, and welcome to this week's training. This week we'll be working with striking at the same time as we're moving, closer or away from our opponent or side to side. It's important to be able to defend ourselves as we move, and it's just as important to be able to strike as we move.
Sawadee. This week we're going back to focusing on your footwork. So you may remember from some weeks back we did some work around stepping and the different forms of the my stepping. We're going to take that now and turn it into a little bit more practical exercises, working around how you move through your stepping between various techniques in a sequence.
The easiest way to start is to focus on the footwork alone. After we're comfortable with landing in a position and not being out of balance in that position, then we can add our strikes to the end of it. And as we get more comfortable, we can start moving and striking at the same time.
So we're going to recap a couple of the basic forms of stepping. So first one is the stoop, that's your short step. So that is just a shuffle, moving forward or back, side, side. Key principle here is that whatever direction you are moving in, that foot will move first. So if you're stepping forward, your front foot comes first, back foot comes behind. If you're stepping to the left, your left foot is moving first, right foot then stepping through. Now the important thing to remember is not to narrow your stance. You want to maintain the integrity of a nice balanced square stance. So as you step, you're going to move your leg and then bring in your rear leg, returning to that square stance. You need to particularly be careful that you're not returning it to a narrow stance, then you will be off balance. Then you have your alternate stepping, which is really for advancing and retreating, as well as changing your stance. So your alternate stepping is just stepping forward or stepping back. Important as you step to an alternate stance that your hips are then following, your shoulders following, so that your rear side is now your lead side. So we're also working around moving around your opponent. So this is now moving on an arc or on part of a circle around your opponent. So this involves similar stepping techniques, but just thinking about your distance to your opponent. So instead of moving straight across, if my opponent's in front of me, I'm going to move slightly on an arc, turning my body again to face my opponent. You can also step around your opponent to set up certain techniques and weapons, and also to evade and divert some of their strikes. So for example, your slip of a punch involves stepping across, but your hips will turn as your foot steps, and then you'll swing around. So it's not stepping across, keeping your hips in the same position so you are off balance. Stepping across, turning your hips, and then regaining yourself directly in front of your opponent to be able to deliver as you swing a nice powerful cross punch, for example.
For our first exercise, we're going to move forward and back and side to side in our stance, and we're going to be focusing on trying to vary our rhythm, trying to vary our speed. For our second combo, we're going to practice moving around in a circle, as if moving around our opponent. We can use an object, any object, and practice moving around that object, or we can use our reps and make a half circle and then move around that circle. Let's give it a try. Saudi. For our next combo, we're going to move forward and back, whilst at the same time striking with a double roundhouse kick.
With your footwork, with your leg strikes, how you place your foot down after one particular technique or strike will help you either gain distance or shorten your distance between you and your opponent. So for example, we're going to work on your double roundhouse. If you want to advance your distance, as you put your foot down, you're going to put it down a little bit more forward from your original stance. If you're going to be retreating, you want to put your foot down a little bit further back from your original stance before you deliver the next roundhouse. Notice here how the foot from the first roundhouse comes down on the floor a little bit closer, then one steps forward again to gain distance in delivering the second roundhouse. In retreating, notice how the foot coming down from the first roundhouse steps a little bit further back than the original stance, then one uses the step to retreat further in delivering the second roundhouse. To advance and retreat with your roundhouse, you can also use your alternate stepping, so from one side to the other without your interchange. In this form of retreat, using your lead roundhouse, it's a very defensive form of retreat as you don't have the full power of your roundhouse.
For this next combo, we're going to move forward and back, attacking with a roundhouse kick from our front leg. The same principles apply. The key moment is as the leg comes down from the first kick. To interchange and leap forward, moving closer to our opponent, or leap backwards, moving away from our opponent. Let's give it a try. Sawadee. For this next combo, we're going to start with moving forward and closer to our opponent to deliver a jab, cross, followed by a double roundhouse. We can start with our front leg or with our back leg. What's important is that if we're moving forward after kicking the first time, whichever leg we're kicking with, steps in front if we're moving forward, or steps behind us if we're moving backwards. It's also important to remember that opening the foot on the floor out at 45 degrees allows the hip to bring through the power much better. Let's give it a try.
This next exercise, you're going to be moving forward with a jab cross, moving forward with a double roundhouse, and then retreating with a double roundhouse. With this exercise, we're going to be working two options. You can advance with a double roundhouse from your rear leg and then retreat again with double roundhouse from your rear leg. Alternatively, then you advance with a double roundhouse from your rear leg, but then interchange and retreat with a double roundhouse from your lead leg.